I think we're going to see a Trump presidency. I don't see any chance that it's going to be changed, either through the electoral college or any other mechanism. So I myself am preparing for a Trump presidency.
So what do they do? So there's a lot of pressure. So you get they're being called. The electors are being called, and some of them they feel harassed by people who really care about this. But since there doesn't seem to really be a training mechanism for voters or the electors on how this works, it's just a bit chaotic. And so in the future, I think we need to look at the fact that we have a fail-safe that no one knows how to use.
Dr. Holmes, I'd like to jump in there because I think that even regardless of what happens on Monday, we've got the FBI coming out today saying that it's in full agreement with the CIA's assessment that the Russian hacking was real, that it was deliberately intended to help Trump and to hurt Hillary. You've got President Obama talking about the fact that, questioning the legitimacy and how do we have a transition of power when you've got a foreign government essentially installing its candidate.
Because even though the voters have voted on an individual, it is the Electoral College that is in effect appointing an individual. Now, these electors come together, and who decides, what is the mechanism by which they're voting? Is anyone trained? Does anyone have any special qualifications? Are they party loyalists? That is up to each and every state to decide.
Making sure we rebrand ourselves as a profession, making sure we continue as social workers to carry on the torch of Dorothy Height and Whitney Young and Barbara Mikulski, and making sure that we get a lot of our leaders running for political office, running for positions not only at the local and state but federal levels.
I'm not really sure how to move forward because there's such this middle ground part where you can have an audience. And I think Barbi brought a great point in talking about vets and service. Tying it to our country or common values can be really difficult, but we do have to find ways to do it, no matter what happens after Monday. So we can't approve of terrible behavior or terrible actions, but we do need to focus on, say, vets PTSD or mental health. And so that we can reach more people from both sides if we're talking about specific stories or specific policies, rather than getting fights about things that don't actually matter to that discussion. So we can't get in fights about abortion and gun control while we're trying to get mental health services for vets. And a lot of times we tend to lump everything together because those are our breaking points. Those are our deal breakers when it comes to supporting the other side. Well, I can't because of these things. Absolutely not. We can't. But at some point we have to be able to take care of the least of these, or how are we going to get anywhere if we can't reach anybody but the people who listen to us?
People don't even remember the 80s. People don't even remember. I remember being terrified at 10 years old about nuclear war. So, I think we really just need to ensure that that there are people in Congress that are going to help fight to ensure that our country is protected going forward. And all we can do, if all we can do is pick up the phone, then we should be picking up that phone.
Right. But this fail-safe we have in place feels really, really shaky to me. And I feel like so much of it has to do with the lack of civic mindedness. Not that people don't want to care, they just don't understand, and we don't understand who's in charge, right? So if we don't know who's in charge, we don't even know who to call. And so I challenge everybody to, no matter what it is you care about, that you find out who is in charge of that thing, whatever it is. If it's homelessness in your city, who can actually change it? Tweeting's one thing, but actually knowing who to tweet about and who to call is another. So what we're seeing on social media with effective action is it's not just, I'm upset about the pipeline. It's, I'm upset about the pipeline. Call this number. Here's the website. Here's the people. So people can make their own personal pleas.